Welcome to Next Man Up, the newest online show about local Philippine basketball and Filipino hoopers around the world. So, if you're a hoop junkie, if you are a hoop fan, make sure to tune in, subscribe to Globally Ballin, and we are going to be discussing the upcoming basketball news and, of course, the next upcoming stars here in the Philippines. So, right now, just a reminder that Next Man Up is a part of the Globally Ballin network. So make sure to follow the network on the social media accounts. Noted on this slide, some of the shows on the network include An Eternity of Basketball, Hang Time with Denise Densai, Mukbang with Jho Jho, Who the Heck Are We, and of course, The Next Man Up. Find all of these and more by visiting www.globallyballin.com and subscribe to the email list. So what do we have for An Eternity of Basketball? We have episode 129. At the moment of recording, the most recent episode of An Eternity of Basketball is with Rick Malyari. Watch that on Globally Ballin YouTube channel. You can also watch on Spotify by searching for An Eternity of Basketball. Depending on where you are watching and when you are watching, there may be other new episodes. So be sure to check out the channel, and if this doesn't pique your interest, share it with someone who would enjoy it. And again, at the moment of recording, also the most recent episode of Hang Time with Denise Denside is, of course, with the King Eagle. I would say he's the King Eagle right now with his performance, especially in that UAAP finals. SJ Belangel, watch this also on the Globally Ballin YouTube channel. Depending on when you are watching, there may be other new episodes, so be sure to check out the channel. If this doesn't pique your interest, share it with someone who would enjoy it. And for sure, a lot of Ateneo fans, SJ Belangel fans, would love to watch this. Those are our two new episodes with other podcasts here in Globally Ballin. And of course, how can I forget my partner here in the Next Man Up? Of course, Mr. Hot Takes himself, my former teammate in the UP Fighting Maroons, Mr. Gelo Vito. Gelo Vito, how are you? It's been a week, and my voice is back after all that, after all the happenings after UP winning that championship. How are you, my guy?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a week. Like what you said, it's been a week, but the high is still there, Jigs. It's still there. But I'm really glad that, again, UP Fighting Maroons finally have done it. But we have a lot of things to talk about in terms of Philippine basketball. So tune in, guys.
All right, so just honestly, that UP championship high, we can probably, we have the right to keep on talking about that probably until the next UAAP. We have the bragging rights for sure, but a lot of things happened this week, especially basketball wise here in the Philippines. Let's talk about the PBA 3x3 first, Jello. First of all, what are your thoughts about PBA 3x3? I think you played in like an invitational PBA 3x3 before. It wasn't the official yet, but
Yeah.
what's the main difference between 5-on-5 and 3x3, just so that people would know how, for me, it's a totally different sport.
Well, yeah, yes, you could consider it as a different type of sport just because the pace is very fast. Shot clock is just at 12 seconds. Ones and twos are being
Yeah,
is the scoring. There are no coaches, so just the four of you guys will be coaching each other, creating a
exactly.
game plan. So it's somewhat a very different type of game in terms of the comparing it to 5-on-5. But again, the PBA 3x3, the level of physicality is a little bit higher,
Yeah, the refs
a
allow
notch higher.
more
Yes,
contact there, right?
they allow more contact. They allow more handshakes, holding,
Yeah.
and I was there yesterday. I was there yesterday watching a few games. And take note, this conference of PBA 3XC is the first time the venues in the mall.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
after all of those conferences, after all those legs, this is the first time that they went to a mall and they hosted Robinson's Magnolia hosted that event. And so it's fun to see. So fans, PBA3XC fans are allowed to watch, and being in the mall, being in the public, that's something new for the PBA3XC
Exactly. I
this
think
conference.
I think it's the whole part of the PBA experience, with them going to the malls, because that's how 3x3 is played around the world. And I
Yeah.
also think that I think Filipino fans and people around the world should also follow 3x3, just because I think it's basketball that Filipinos would appreciate more, because Filipinos, if you notice, they love, hand checks. They love, people posts on social media, Jello, and Hoop Junkie and other social media sites. They would post, the physicality in
Yes.
Pinoy street basketball. And you'll see that in PBA 3x3. Just with all the rules, of course, there's like, what Jello said, the ball is different. It's a little bit smaller, but it's the same weight as their standard
Standard.
basketball.
Yeah.
So, that's a whole different experience. The floor is different. So, yeah, 3x3 was great. For the first leg of the third conference, it was TNT who won
TNT.
the
Yes.
first leg. And in all the conferences, Jello, TNT won all the first legs. So when you talk about consistency, when you talk about starting the conference strong, TNT has been doing that every single time. And I think Coach Maubelen and Coach Ranidel de Ocampo has been doing a great job with that team. Jello, you said you watched some of the games. What do you see with this TNT team that makes them a hard team to go up against, and why are they always competitive?
First of all, you have to give credit to obviously Coach Mao and Coach Ranidel, who's been doing a great job of
Mhm.
keeping that team together, keeping that core intact in Almon Vosotros and Glenn Kubuntin, all those guys. And Lurvin Flores, again, they've been doing a great job keeping that core. Secondly, you have to give it up to Almon Vosotros. Almon Vosotros has
Sure.
been tearing up that league.
He's been leading the league in
He's
scoring.
been leading. Obviously, the last conference, I think he was still the leading scorer.
Yeah.
And you have to give credit also to those role guys, Glenn Kubunte, sorry, not Glenn Kubunte, Lurvin Flores, who's been physical inside and out,
Mhm.
defending tougher picks of the other teams. And again, you don't have to count them out. Again, other
Yeah,
teams
for
are
sure.
getting stronger, getting new players and this and that, but
And that has been
Comitex
the
is
trend
still
also. That has been the trend, Jello. Like the first conferences, you would see some teams really dominating, Meralco, TNT, Platinum, and then Limitless came in with Coach
yes,
Willie there. They won a couple of championships, but when you talk about 3x3, they have copied each other. Basically, that's how this sport
yes,
grew. They know how to play with each other. When you talk about this TNT team, it's a new team. They have Vosotros, they have Samboy De Leon, they have Glenn.
Lurvin,
No, Lirvin, I think, is injured. So I think it was Brian Mendoza,
Brian Mendoza.
who played for them, and then Ping Eximeniano. So all guards, but they made it work. They played three out. No one really posting up, just guard play every single time. So congratulations to the TNT Tropang Giga, who went up against the Barangay Hinebra 3x3, who I think this is their second time to make it to the finals in any leg. And I think they're slowly getting better as well, with Kabahug there, one of the low-key players, low-key hoopers here in the PBA 3x3 scene. Jella, are we going to see you in a 3x3 game or in a team?
Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But again,
I think you're the
again.
perfect player for 3x3, bro. You can shoot from the outside, you can post up players.
But again, just an advice to those guys or who wants to play in the play in 3x3. You guys have to be physically ready for it.
Yes,
Again,
sir. This is coming from a sports science major, guys. You gotta
yes,
listen to this guy.
you guys have to be physically ready. And just because you guys are playing multiple games in a day, that's one. And two, again, the level of physicality is so high that you'd be tired just playing for like 10 minutes.
Yep.
10
Continuous,
minutes,
intense
continuous. Exactly. So you guys have to be physically ready and also mentally ready because, again, anything can happen, anything can turn out,
Yep.
anything can pan out in a 3x3 in a span of 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Span of 10 minutes. So you guys have to be ready for that.
And talking about being physically fit and mentally fit, I'm sure the rest of the PBA is getting ready for that, because the season is coming up. The next
Yes.
season is coming up.
Yep.
And that means the awards are also coming up, Jello. The PBA awards, and this is gonna be an interesting conversation because I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you're gonna have some hot takes. We're gonna start it off with I think let's start it off with the Rookie of the Year nominees, and I don't think it's a really tight race here when you talk about the Rookie of the Year nominees. So we have Mikey Williams, who won a championship for TNT in the Philippine Cup, and he was ballin'. I think the
Mm-hmm.
second player next to him in terms of stat points is Jamie Malonzo,
Jamie Alonso.
who has been playing great also. He has found his role here with Northport. Andre Karakut, a steady point guard for Rain or Shine. Jerry Misi, not a lot of minutes for him for Magnolia, but he got a couple, and he, proved to us that he belongs in the PBA. And of course, how can we forget Santi Santillangeles? We've played against this guy. Of course, Jel, I think it's no question that this is gonna be Mikey Williams, right? For you, I'm not sure if you're gonna have any hot takes here because if you do, I think fans will get mad at you just because he's just doing it for just so that he has hot takes. But that's not the
Nah,
case. Mikey
nah.
Williams is probably the only person you can choose here just because he's
Yeah.
also running for the MVP. So
Yeah.
like, how can you not choose Mikey Williams
That's
if he's contending for the MVP, right?
Jex, I give hot takes that people don't agree with, but come on, this is an obvious one. Come on,
I mean,
I'm not. Come on,
I mean,
it's
Jello,
an
the
obvious.
guy averages. He's on track, by the way, for the first rookie MVP since
Since
our
Benji
fellow
Paras.
Fighting Maroon, yeah, Benji Paras in 1989. His averages, okay, he has 34.26 stat points. His averages are around the league best, Jello. 19.5 points per game, 3.9 rebounds, and 4.2 dimes. He just does
As
a
a
little
rookie,
bit of everything and more scoring for this TNT team. What
but
makes
Jex,
Mikey
yeah,
Williams special, Jello? You remember he trained with us before with the Fighting Maroons D League team.
yeah, but would you? The question there is: would you really consider him as a rookie? The way he plays, the way he dictates everything. But again, he has a high level of experience. He's been in the NBA G League. He's played in the ABL. He's played all overseas. So he has that experience. The label of Rookie of the Year for him is just because it's his first time here in the PBA.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the level of experience is up there. Is
So
up
so
there,
you
really.
think, Jello, they should change the how they what do you call this? Do you think they should change how they decide? Okay, who are legitimate rookies to win the Roy, or they should just keep it because Mikey
I think
Williams has been a pro around the world.
around the world, yeah.
So
But
for me,
again,
honestly, you shouldn't count as a rookie, right?
the rule states that a
Yeah.
rookie, the definition of a rookie is someone who's playing his first year,
Mm-hmm.
in
The
the league.
PBA.
So the PBA, that's considered a rookie.
Yeah.
So I don't know who would argue with that because that's the rule. And again, if Mikey Williams win this, he's gonna be the oldest rookie of the year at age 30.
I mean, right? So I don't know, Jelly, because in the UAAP, right? In the UAAP, they kind of changed the rookie status. Well, where you have to be a legitimate first year student,
A freshman, yes.
a freshman in the UAP for you to be counted and to win a Rookie of the Year award. You got to be fresh out of high school. But yeah, with the PBA, it doesn't matter as long as it's your first PBA year. Even if you played 10 years in overseas pros, you're still a rookie. So I don't know. Let's move on to the next one. Next award is gonna be the most improved player nominees, Jello. And right here we have a couple of guys that really stood out in the past conferences in the past season. And these are the players for the most improved. We're gonna have that in a bit, but we have Aaron Black, Kib Montalvo, Robert Bolick, Wami Tiongson, and Scottie Thompson. Whew! A lot of crucial choices here, Jello.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts first? Are you gonna have any picks here? Do you have a pick now, or you haven't decided yet?
I kind of haven't decided yet, just because you have two guys there who's really up there. Like they've been really consistent, top dogs for their teams. And Robert Bolick and Scottie Thompson. I really
Yeah.
don't understand why are they most improved. But then again, that's the PBA's list. Let's
Uh-huh.
not be toxic about it. But
Yeah, of course.
But then again, I really feel that it's just between Aaron Black, Kwame Changson, and Kim Montal.
Like it should be just between
It's
among
just
them.
between among them. Yes.
Mm. Because yeah, you have a good point there, Jal. Because Robert Bolick has been balling for Northport. I
Yep.
mean, he just missed a year because of injury, so
Injury.
probably his numbers, went a
Dip
little bit
down.
lower. Yeah, but Robert Bolick is still Robert Bolick. But when you check the numbers, he probably improved some of that. Scottie Thompson also. I think the increase in his numbers, the way he improved in terms of numbers and scoring, went up also because of the injury of Stanley Pringle, Jared Dillinger. He had more minutes now. He doesn't really come off the bench. He starts for Barangay Ginebra, and he has turned into a very complete player, just right. Like he gets rebounds, he gets offensive rebounds, especially in the PBA finals. He has a consistent shot from the outside now and can create off the dribble. So he has turned into a very complete player, and he deserves all these awards. Actually, he deserves all the fanfare, the praise, because he has been balling, and I'm just happy for the guy, bro. But when you talk about your legitimate picks for most improved, talking about Aaron Black, Wami Tiongson, and Kib Montalvo, if you had to choose now, who would you pick among those three? Because Robert and Scottie, they are also MVP nominees. So let's not put them in this conversation.
You know what? Basing it on the impact that they give
Mm-hmm.
to their team, I really think the biggest impact, the best, the player who gave the biggest impact to their team, I would say Kib Montalvo.
Ooh,
Because again,
why
again,
do you say so? Yeah,
but again,
that's a
Kib
hot
Montalvo.
take, Jess. That is a hot
But
take.
again, but Jegs, I'm not saying he's supposed to be the most improved player.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's the guy that made the best impact for TNT.
Okay.
It's because nobody expected Kib to be there for the Tokentex. He's defending the best player of other teams.
Hmm.
As a second year player, he's been then all of a sudden he started to put up numbers in scoring. He started to hit those 3 pointers again, and then he became a starter. He became a consistent starter. So again, I don't know what Coach Shot did to this guy, but he's really made a great impact for TNT again and again. That finals run in the bubble,
Mhm.
I think for me, he's one of the X factors of that run in that
I
Philippine
don't
bubble.
know about that pick, Jel. So we gotta ask the fans. Do you guys agree with this take by Gelo Vito? Skip
I think
Montalvo, he has been playing well. He has been producing for TNT, maybe second, third guy, sometimes even fourth. But there would be spurts that he would really play well. I think he even had a 20-point game.
yeah.
Talking about Kib, right? So, you wanna defend yourself, Jels, with this take?
Again, I'm not saying
Yeah.
he's supposed to be MIP, but
Yeah.
again, I'm just saying out of the three, he's the one who made the best impact in their team.
When you talk about Wami Tiongson, I mean, this guy is a bucket getter. He found
Yeah.
his role. He found a home here with Terra Firma. I'm
Yeah.
not even sure if he's gonna stay with Terra Firma for a long time, but he has been a great scoring option for them. I would say he's the first, even second. Maybe you could choose, Joshua Manzon or him, but he's been playing like Steph Gels. He's been shooting a lot of threes, being set up by off-ball screens. He is a great pick and roll player, and he has worked hard for this. Even
Yeah.
though and this journey is incredible. Also, he was in and out of the PBA. He went the D League route, and then he went back up to the PBA. Played well for NLEX, found a home here in Terra Firma, and he's averaging, I think, around 16 points per game. When you talk about Wami Chongson.
Wami Chongson has really stepped up big since that Alex Cabagnot Achilles injury. If you
Mhm.
would notice, he really took the responsibility of being the top point guard
Yeah.
for Terra Firma.
Yeah, he
And
averaged almost 18 points per game in the last
yes, that's
Philippine Cup.
conference. Yes.
In the last conference. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, no doubt that this guy together with their new rookies.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, together with their new rookies and Javi Gomez de Leon, he can
Yeah,
he
it's
can
gonna be tough.
yeah, it's gonna be tough. Terra Firma is gonna be a tougher team
Yeah,
this
for
coming
sure.
season.
And then let's talk about this last guy. This is my guy right here. One of my closest friends, Aaron Black Gels. He didn't really have the best elimination rounds. You know, he had
Yeah,
his moments. He had a couple of double digit games. Some days he would shoot really bad, but he had an injury, like a foot injury that he had to nurse.
yeah,
But in the playoffs, Jello, this guy balled out. This guy all of a sudden went berserk. He played like probably Jalen Brunson because of the how they play lefty,
yeah,
mid-range game, catch and shoot three.
yeah.
Talk a bit just quickly about this one, and then we'll move on to the MVP.
Again, he's probably one of the best guys for Meralco right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's been scoring. He's been doing it on both ends of the floor, and I just want to see a little bit more consistency from him because again, he's gonna be playing a lot of big games for Meralco in the upcoming season.
Yeah, I think he averaged 17, 4 and 4 in the PBA final, so he might actually have a chance here while winning the most improved player, but that's just in the playoffs. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure if he's gonna win this. It's probably gonna be I think it's gonna be Wami, bro. Either Wami or Robert, just because Robert might not win the MVP.
Yeah.
Might give it to the other. Yeah, so that's how I think it's gonna be. So let's move on to the MVP since we're talking about the MVP nominees. And we have it right here. So a couple of guys that we've been talking about, Jello. We talked about Robert Bolick, he's basically the system for Northport.
Yeah.
Just give him the ball, set up pick and roll, and that's basically the play. He's gonna make things happen. They're gonna win with that kind of play.
Yeah.
Mikey Williams, give him the ball, dribble, drive, offense. He can do anything. He can break down any defender one on one, even if it's that Kib Montalvo, even if that's his teammate. He's gonna break him down because that's how great of a hooper Mikey Williams is. He has the confidence
True.
way up high. We talked
That's
about
true.
Scottie Thompson, Jello, a bit earlier, but talk about this guy. We haven't talked about Calvin
Yeah.
Amueva because, out of all the awards, he's probably, most improved, no, because he has been consistent, but MVP, best player of the conference in the Philippine Cup. Talk about this guy, Jello. What makes this guy special?
Calvin's career has been resurging this year, the previous year, and after everything that has happened to him, all those trades, all those issues, and yet this guy is still there. His mindset is just kill. He has that killer instinct, and you can see it in the stats: 14.5 points per game, almost 9 rebounds, and almost 3 assists and a steal per game.
Yep.
So you really can't count him out. The way he brings energy, the energy that he gives to Magnolia, the physicality obviously is still there. And right now, the way I see Calvin plays, it's a much it's it came toned down for a bit,
Yeah.
but in a better way. In a better
but
way.
even if he was an intense player before, but now that he has calmed down a little, it seemed like he's kind of picking his spots, picking
Yes.
where to shoot, picking when to shoot and when to score. So, and out of all the four players, just I think Calvin is probably the best two-way player. I mean,
Yeah.
Thompson is averaging 1.24 steals per game, but Calvin is also averaging a steal per game. He averages almost 2 blocks per game. So this guy doesn't just do it on offense, also on defense. Do you have any picks here, Jello, for MVP? If you had to choose now.
It's a bit tough because again, you have to consider coaching votes, media votes.
Mhm.
But for me, it's gonna be a close race between Robert Bolick and Mikey Williams. It's gonna be a close race, I must say.
That's a tough pick. I think because of when you talk about stat points, the leader for the stat points, I think,
Mr. Robert Bolick. Mr. Robert Bolick.
Bolick, yeah, with 36 statistical stat points. But when you talk about winning, when you talk about winning, Mikey Williams won a championship. Scottie Thompson won a championship out of the four. So I think it's gonna be between Mikey Williams and Scottie Thompson for MVP because Calvin was injured for most of the
To the latter part. The latter part of the
Governor's
season.
Cup of the Governor's Cup. So I think it's gonna be Mikey Williams and Scotty. But I think Robert deserves it also just because he
Yeah.
basically led the stats. I mean,
Yeah.
right? He led the league in statistical points and he has the ball at a young age. So maybe Robert Bolick can have his time in the future, but Mikey and Scotty is probably my picks for MVP. It's really up to the PBA. So that has been a great conversation about the PBA, and we're gonna move on to some bigger basketball takes, bigger basketball, because we're gonna talk about the country next. But before that, we're gonna have to see some of the other shows of the Globally Ballin Network. We have this one right here, Mukbang with Jho Jho. I love talking about this because it's hosted by Joe Maraginot. She guested Eliza Valdez, and they're just eating. Just like that's how they love the. That's how why I love this show because they just eat. It shows the natural effect, the natural conversations of these athletes, and who wouldn't want to watch Eliza Valdez, one of the best volleyball players here in the Philippines. So if you have people who if you have friends, you have family that wanna watch this, make sure to recommend Globally Ballin, Mukbang with Jho Jho, especially this episode with Eliza Valdez. And also, at the moment of recording, the most recent episode of Who the Heck Are We, episode 100, is Stefan Cabizares Schrock. One of the best footballers here in the Philippines. And watch that on Globally Ballin YouTube channel. Depending on when you're watching, there may be other new episodes. So be sure to check out the channel. If this doesn't, it's not really, you're not a football fan. Maybe you have friends that are football fans. You can probably recommend this because they're gonna love it. A lot of great conversations here at the Globally Ballin Network. All right, and also next man up, of course. How can we not plug our show, Just? This is our own show, so we gotta plug this for sure. Catch all episodes on YouTube and Spotify. On Spotify, we are called Next Man Up. On YouTube, of course, we're gonna be at the Globally Ballin page on our YouTube. So links are found in the show's description. Make sure to subscribe and listen to all our episodes there. We're gonna have a couple of guests probably in the future. We're just working that out, Jella. So that is gonna be exciting. So, Jels, it's now time to talk about not the PBA. This time, we're going out of the Philippines. We're going out of the Philippine archipelago because the Sea Games are happening right now. We've had a couple of gold medals, different in different sports. But let's talk about first the Gilas women, still the queens of Southeast Asia. Although they lost in their last game, they still won their gold medal here in the Sea Games. What can you say about Coach Pat's team, Coach Pat Aquino's team, who has been balling? When you talk about small ball, this is probably the epitome of small ball. But they
Literal
have made
small
it
ball.
work. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
made it work.
You gotta give credit to Coach Pat Aquino
Mhm.
for really building this program, this Gilas women's program from the ground up.
Mhm.
Coach Pat got players off the radar. I must say, she got Camille Clarin. She got El Fajardo out of nowhere. They got UAAP stars in Claire Castro. All those guys.
Bernardino, yeah.
Afril Bernardino. Like
Pontejos. They had a couple of hoopers.
yeah. Like they're not the tallest. They're probably not the most athletic out of all the Southeast Asian teams. But and again, to consider Jack Animam's absence in that
Yeah.
team and still dominating the Sea Games, I think there's only more room for improvement. Like I can see this team going up a notch in the next few years. And let's wait for Jack Animam's return to the program, and sky's the limit for this team.
Yeah, I think Jack Kanimam is just recovering from an injury, but Jels, they finished with a 4-1 slate. Basically, they clinched the gold after the win against Singapore because it's just a single round robin format with the best record taking home the title. So even with Indonesia also finishing at 4-1, the Filipinos hold the tiebreaker after beating them 93-77. I mean, they've been woman handling all these teams in the Sea Games. They blew also 93-86 going into the last 2 minutes in that game. So I mean, it's gonna be an interesting development here for the Gilas women's. They lost their last game against Malaysia, but they still win that. Malaysians finished with a 3-2 record, but a lot of hoopers really paved the way. Pontejos has been scoring from the outside. Bernardino has been just carrying this whole team, scoring inside, getting rebounds. Of course, Ella Fajardo's there with a sick highlight. There she had a ankle breaker and hit the three. That was tough. You guys gotta
Stuff.
search
That was
that
stuff.
probably on IG. Check that out. So what do the fans think? Do the listeners think about the Gilas women's and how they're gonna progress, and we should put more respect into women in sports because they have been winning golds for
Yeah.
us here and there, Jello, here and there.
You know what?
So yeah,
People should start watching women's basketball. You guys should start watching women's basketball because it's fun to watch, guys. You guys have to watch it. I'm telling you.
that's coming from Mr. Hot Takes, guys, and that's not even a hot take because we gotta put some respect on these girls' names. But talking about Gilas, Jello, okay, women's congratulations to Coach Pat Aquino and his troops and his team for clinching the gold. But for the first time in a very very long time, Jello, our Gilas men's did not win the gold medal in how many years, Jello? First
Since
time I think
1989, I think.
since
Yeah.
1989. That's how many years? Do the math, Jal. That's more than 20 years of
Yes.
winning the gold medal. 33 straight years,
33.
rather. 33 straight years of
33.
going crazy in the Southeast Asia. I mean, Jello, usually you played in the national youth level. I played in the national youth level, under 16, under 17. We would dominate in the SEA Games. Maybe 20 probably it was the smallest margin that we won against these guys. Can you talk about the different? Why are we way above these countries when you talk about skill, when you talk about the talent?
Well, first of all, during our time, because I played for the national team, for the national youth team back in 2011. UJEX played back in 2014. So I think in that 3 year span between the both of our teams, there's this quality of basketball in Southeast Asia is a bit low at that time. Because our time we were up there in terms of skill. We've been at my time during my time 2011, we were already training abroad. Obviously, you guys have been training abroad,
Yeah.
and the level of coaching at that time is a bit higher. Training is a bit more comprehensive, I must say, at that time. And right now, Southeast Asian neighbors is trying to pick it up in terms of coaching, in terms of the level of play. Like Indonesia, they got Coach Raiko Toroman, former Gilas coach,
Who coached for us? Yeah.
who coached for us. And the system also. They're trying to match the level of competition, the level of play in the top teams in Europe, in the United States. So probably that's what other Southeast Asian teams are realizing right now.
Yeah, so I think it's not just the skill level. I think it's the level of investment of all these countries. They have invested in their basketball program, Jello. When you talk about this team, Indonesia, they have a naturalized player in Marquise Bolden who led Indonesia with a double-double performance, Jello, against Gilas. 18 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks in 32 minutes of play. So I mean, he was for me the game changer in that game, in that gold medal match between these two teams. And they have a couple of shooters, Jalo. Grahita, Xaviero, Jawato. Hawato has been always playing for Indonesia. But for us, Jello, a lot of players actually stepped up also for us. Matthew Wright had 23. Junmar, being the Kraken himself, 20 points. 30 had 17. Troy Rosario had 12. Kiefer had 9, and everyone 0. But there has been a lot of conversations, Jello, online, about, they want to change Coach Chot. They're not happy with the program of Gilas. I mean, but honestly, Jello, that's basketball. You win some, you lose some. I think it's great that the countries around us are catching up with our level of basketball. And I don't think it's healthy for our country, for the Filipino fans, for our basketball community, for them to keep bashing. I think criticism is fine as long as it's constructive, as long
Yeah.
as it's coming from a point of probably empathy. If you take a look at this team, it was I think made just a couple of weeks. I think Matthew Wright wasn't even in great shape. He
Yeah.
he said that coming into SEA Games, but he couldn't turn down the opportunity to represent the flag. So I mean, props to him. he was still up for that challenge. I mean, Kiefer went all the way from Japan and came here to the Philippines to play for the flag. Junmar, I mean, he's still not 100%. He came from an injury, a major injury, and he's still going up there. But Jules, what are your takes here with a lot of players, a lot of coaches? No, not a lot of coaches, a lot of fans really trying to say negative stuff about Gilas. Well, I'll just before that, we'll read this quote from Coach Chot. He said, "Our players played their best. Indonesia came with a very good game plan. They shot well from the 3-point line, and in the end, we just couldn't match it." So obviously, he said, "That's on me. I take full accountability and responsibility for the result. And like I said, they tried their best, and that's sports. That's life. Sometimes things don't work out the way we played." And beautifully said by Coach Chot Reyes. He took accountability after that loss. That's a sign of a great leader, a great coach. Giles, what are your takes here? After that, did you watch the game? I just saw highlights. I wasn't able to watch the game.
Actually, I saw the final, the fourth quarter. I saw the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
what can you say?
Anyway, first of all, they didn't have really a long time to prepare and to gel this team together.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. That's probably one issue that I would say that really. But then again, all of them are veterans, veteran national team players. So, and probably if they had longer time to prepare and for them to gel, I think it's not a question of whether it's not already a question of whether Coach Shot should be removed or what. Again, building a national team or competing for international competitions, it takes time. Jex, you know that we've been in the national team. You've been in the national team.
You need months of preparation, not just weeks.
Exactly. And again, am I saying that it's because of the system of what's happening? Not really. But again, if they really wanted to compete well, people should know that it has to take time. The preparation should take time. And missing pieces like Dwight Ramos, Japet, and Robert Bolick should be there. I really think not really. Again, looking at the lineup, looking at
It's
this
a solid lineup.
it's a solid lineup. You had the Ravena brothers playing. You had the Motao duos doing a great job in San Miguel right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have the most consistent player out there in Troy Rosario. You still all those guys. Junmar, his first stint in the Gilas after a long time, and he's been dominating the SEA Games.
Yeah.
So you really have you don't have a problem with that as well in terms of the player and in terms of the lineup. If I really think that they should have put better. Well, actually, they have shooters in Roger Pugoy, Matthew Wright.
You're right.
The best.
I mean, Kiefer can shoot, bro. Like,
Kiefer can shoot. We have at least 3 of the best scoring Filipinos right now in that team. So again, it wasn't like what we always say. It wasn't their day. It wasn't their day.
yeah.
So
Yeah, they just from the outside and Indonesia connected from the outside. I think that's just the story of the ball game. And even if you put any coach in there, just with a couple of a short time of preparation, I think they're gonna have to really adjust and try to grind out the wins. And I think more than that, it's the other countries stepping up their game now. Them improving their level of basketball.
Yeah.
Because before we could afford, not even training, not the like rub off our level of competition when it comes to Southeast Asia. Before, just like I would even think that some college players, some college teams or UAAP teams would compete against easily win gold in the SEA Games. I mean, we had the Gilas cadets before, Jello. They were all just college players, and they won a couple of gold medals for the Philippines. That's just the fact. I mean, in terms of SEA Games, I think even if Indonesia won that, we're still up there when it comes to the level of competition. But slowly, countries are stepping up, and I think that's healthy. That's healthy for basketball, not just here in the Philippines, but also around the region, around the world. Because I mean, if other countries are getting better, other countries will think, oh, we could get to that level also and compete with the best of the best around the world. And it's just going to make the Philippine basketball even better when we go to the Asian competitions, to the World championships, which we're gonna host in 2023.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a process. The fans should just trust the process. Fans should enjoy the game of basketball,
That's
and
true.
just be Hooper fans. Cheer for the players, cheer for the coaches. Win or lose, I think we need to have that mentality. Win or lose, we're gonna stick with
Yeah.
our country. Just like, okay, I'll just get a quote from Athenians, right? Win or lose, it's the school we choose. I think win or lose, it's the country that we choose, right?
Yeah.
We should have that kind of a mentality when in terms of supporting our Gilas players and our other national team.
Yeah, again, enough with the toxicity, man. Just gotta support. You just gotta show some
Yes,
love,
sir.
show some love to the country, to
Yeah.
the national team. Because again, all of us see just the game, just the way they play.
You
But
don't see behind the scenes.
the behind
You
the
don't see what's
scenes,
happening,
exactly.
inside the locker room, outside
Inside
the
the-
locker room. I mean,
And I think people don't understand the level of difficulty that you play outside of the country. You sacrifice a lot of time. You sacrifice family time. You sacrifice your body to
Yeah.
traveling, to competing
we
internationally.
gotta
It's
gotta
not. It's
support.
not really. You just
for,
gotta.
for all the listeners out here, you gotta comment down below. Spread love. I think love should be louder than hate at this point. Whether it's basketball, whether it's life, spread love. I mean, especially on social media, this is your sign to spread more love. Make sure positivity is louder than negativity, because there's a lot of space for that in the world right now. So, Jello, this has been a great one. This has been a great episode. Solid conversations,
Yeah,
solid insights as
as
always,
always.
Jello. Before we go, you got anything to plug? Social media, where can they follow you? The Mr. Hot Takes guy, where can we see you?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram. It's at Gelo Vits, GELOVITS, and on Twitter, you guys can follow me as well. It's at I am Gelo V.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's my social media.
Yes, sir. That's Mr. Hot Takes himself. And by the way, guys, all the viewers, listeners, the video earlier that was from ESPN. So shout out to ESPN. We don't own these videos. You gotta give the credit where it's due. So appreciate you. This has been Next Man Up, episode 3. We're in the third episode now, Just. I gotta change my intro to from the newest podcast to the latest or the hottest podcast, probably. So to all the listeners, the viewers, make sure to follow, hit the like button, and subscribe. The thumbs up button if you're listening on YouTube. Also on Spotify, share this podcast so that we spread more love, we spread more basketball talk and hoop talk around the Philippines, around the world. We appreciate you guys. This has been Diego Dario and Mr. Hot Takes Gelo Vito for Next Man Up, episode 3. Peace!